Yeah. So today we are going to be building a CRM and customer support automation stack for any service business, whether it be an insurance company or any business generally. So this ideally how it's going to work is if you have a form on your website where customers have to lodge customer support related issues. What it's going to do is that it's going to get those details that's been submitted on the website, send it to an anything instance for it to be able to classify, okay, is this message customer support related or it isn't? If it's customer support related, let's route it to the right team that can follow up on customer support. I'll generate a customer support ticket and follow up on their issue. If it's not customer support related, it can route to um, the Google Sheet where it saves the customer information for a follow up. So basically, um, the first step is to have a form on your website, and there are so many form builders out there that you can just literally go to Google and search online for form builders. But in this case, I'm using Tally Forms. You can search it on Google. It's free to use, and you can just it's quick to um, create a mock form, and this is the one I generated. We are using this instance for Philips HMO customer support. It's an insurance company. So the first name, last name, email, phone number, and message. Those are the fields that we'll use to build. So let's just go back so that we can copy the link, and then we head over to a new tab. We paste it on there. So in this case, we are going to fill out the details. But before we do that, how we are going to be sending this information to the anything is going to be via webhook. So we have to set the webhook up, and then we head back to where we came from, head over to integrations, and when you go down, you will see webhook send events for new submissions to HTTP endpoints. You click on connect, and it's asking for an endpoint URL. So you head back to the anything, and from the scenario you want to search for a webhook, and then you select that. And now for the webhook, what we are doing is a post request. In most cases, you're either going to be using delete, get, or post request. I don't really use the others, but most of the things you need to do, you need those three: delete, get, and the post request. So in this case, we are using a post request, and we'll copy the test URL, and we'll go back there and paste it in there and hit connect. So now you can see that the webhook has already been connected to the anything. So when you fill in informations on the sheet, it gets sent to that webhook, this webhook to receive the information. So we are going to do just that. So let's say the information we are submitting: first name Daily, last name Farouk, email, let's use daily@gmail.com, phone number, it could be any phone number. This number that just for we're just using this for testing purposes. So I what I wrote here is I'd have an issue with my last policy. I would like to update some details and credentials. We're just using that for the mock test event. So what we're going to do is right before we hit submit, we want to since it's a test event, we have to listen for test events. So we click on that and we come back here and hit on submit. So you see the form has been submitted, head back to anything, and so we just got the payload back. And if you scroll down, we see the information we input: the first name, value, the last name, value Farouk, and every other information we need, and as well as the message. So from here, what we're going to do is that we're going to route it, and what we see now is that this information that is being sent, the data is a lot and it's very messy, and we want to transpose this data in a way where it's clean and anything can be able to use the data. So what we want to do is I want to add a set node. So in this set node, we are going to add input fields. So we are going to basically write first name. We are going to input all those fields that were being sent. say last name. Say what else again was there? Email, phone number, and message. I think it was just that. Yeah, that's all. So now we'll now start mapping in the fields one by one. So let's start with message. So for the message, this is the value. So we map the field here. For the phone number is the value. So we map the phone number to its right place. Email, we map it in the last name, we map it in, and the first name as well, we map it in. So now we've mapped all the details in. Let's execute the step. And you can see from all that messy data that we had earlier, it's cleaned up to the right data we need for the editing. So you see first name, daily, last name, email, phone number, message. So that's basically what it is. And now the next step is to add an if node. So what we want to do is that we already have the data into anything and it's been cleaned already. So we want to, from the message that was being sent, we want to decipher that, okay, is this message customer support related or it isn't customer support related? And one of the ways we could do that is to add an if node. So we just search if route items based on certain conditions. So what we are going to do is we'll map this message. So basically, if we are saying if this the content in this message contains words like complaints. If it's contain word like complaints, it's going to a true section. That means if it contains words like complaints, it's going to for customer related uh, things. And then you can add another condition. You can say if those contain complaints or if it contains words like help, or I'm going to highlight this so that will make it easier to send. If it contains words like problem, problem, or it contains words like what else? What else could be in a customer support complaint? Issue, or the last one, I think, if it contains words like not working, work. So you can also click on convert types where required, so it won't be as strict. It will be able to detect if it's actually related to that. So literally what this is supposed to do is if the content in this message contain any of these words, then it will be routed to a true path. That means it's customer support related. So when we execute this, you see that now it's routed to a false branch. So let's see what the issue here might be. Now you can see that the issue, because this is part of the problems of debugging, issue here is you can see it's equals to instead of contains. So let's change that to contains. So you have to always take note of this because these are things that can happen, when you're setting this up. You might end up clicking the wrong thing. You have to take your time and check. So if you execute the step again, you see it then goes to the true branch. So that is customer support related. And now we already have it identifying that okay, this message is customer support related. So how do we now log it to a staff or anybody there? Before we log it to a staff, we have to generate a ticket number for that person's message. And how we do that is to create another set node. We are going to create another set node saying so basically We are creating another set note for ticket ID. So what would be the person's ticket ID? And now, how do we do this? We can also use help of ChatGPT, and then we can say, I would like to generate a dynamic ticket ID number. Use ID number in N8N. Generate ticket ID number in N8N using the set node. This is the incoming input from the previous node. So we just go back there and switch to JSON, and we can like copy this JSON format and paste it in the chat, so that the ChatGPT will have like enough information and context about like how to set the number up. So you can be saying to generate a ticket ID like this, readable, sortable. Okay. So basically what we do is in the expression, I'm going to copy this and we're going to paste it here as an expression. So to generate a ticket number like this, you know, and then we can include other input fields as well. And also I want to add another this thing. I could say status equals to new, or hard code this as new. So we execute the step. So now we don't only have just the first name, last name, email, phone, message. We also have the ticket ID number and the status. So yes, that's what we have right now. So from here, now we want to add um, a Google Sheet step. So we'll add a Google Sheet. Basically, this customer support complaints, we want to save it into the Google Sheet. To log it in as a customer complaint. So what we're going to do is that we'll head over to our Google Sheet now and create a table for customer support complaints. We'll just name the spreadsheets customer support Philips HM. Then what we can do, just fill in those info, first name, create the header for the sheet, first name, last name, email, phone, what else? Message, status. Okay, you know what? I actually wanted the ticket ID to come first, so I'm just going to write it ticket ID, and then for the rest of this field, I can then paste what I wanted to. Okay, I think we'll go with that. Let's just beautify it a little bit and add like a feeling just so it's much more visible. So yeah, let's rename this to ticket And then I would like to add on that sheet too for, okay, let's leave that for now when we get to that part. So yeah, we've already created the sheet, and then from the documents, when we check, you see the sheet that we just created and the sheet name as tickets. The reason why I rename them is so that we can easily identify them when we're trying to set it up in the mode. So we can select now. Column to match on is like a, it has to be like a unique identifier. So basically, anybody that submits a customer support related stuff can either have the same name, they may have the same last name, the same phone number, same uh, message, but the only thing they can have is the same email. They equally can have the same ticket ID, but the reason I don't want to use a ticket ID is because what if it's the same person that is lodging a different complaint? You don't want it to carry the same ID, but we want to determine it from the email. So basically, what we are going to use is we are going to use an email as a column to match on. So what we are going to do is we are going to drag the email here, the ticket ID, we are going to map it out, drag it here. First name here, last name, phone number, message, and the status is new. So we are going to execute the step, and you see that like it maps everything into its field. And we check the chart, you can see that like the sheet, and we can see everything is being logged into the sheets appropriately. See? So yeah, and now that it's been logged into the sheet, we want to be able to send an email to let the staff know that somebody um, has requested customer support. So we are sending to staff. Let's use my email for now. Let's come. So we use something like new. Let's always put this as an expression. New support tickets, and then we'll now bring this ticket ID, paste it in here. Yeah, I want to change it to text, and the message, for the message, um, we'll bring it in as an expression, and I'm going to paste an existing message I was working on another workflow. So basically saying a new ticket has been created with ticket ID, customer email, issue, and the status. So we're just going to map everything in manually. So this is the ticket ID, customer email, issue as the message, and created ads. Okay, so now this created ads would also like to map it in, and that's something we forgot to add in. And we are supposed to add that in this step, the edit field step. So let's do that right now. So we can easily just add another field and say created ads. And then I think in the webhook there is, yes, right here. So you can see it has the time that it was created. And then we run the step again, run the step again, run this, run this so that to update in the sheets. But now in the sheet we don't have a created ad step, so we could just equally add that as well. So we'll copy this, Paste it here. Just type created at yeah. So go to the Google Sheets, just add out that other refresh, and for the created art, you could just add it in and execute the step again so that it can save, and then we come to the Gmail step and we'll add that in back to the expression. So created at this particular time. And now what I want to do is I want to remove this and append anything attribution, because if you just send the mail like this without removing it, it will now end up writing like we should drop their trademark at the bottom of the mail to like say like, oh, this email was sent with anything. And you don't want that because it will just disfigure the whole. It's like free marketing for anything basically. So you can see that, you can see the email that's been sent, and if you come to my mail, you can see that most likely an inbox was dropped. You can see this. So I have an issue with my policy outlet, like everything was being sent in. So yeah, that's it for that part. And now what we want to do from here is that okay, you've sent it to a staff. You want to also let the customer know that their request has been lodged. So add another Gmail step, and we could send another message. And now we are sending it to uh, sending it to their email. So you could just type something like we received your support request. Change it to a text. And for the message, you switch to expression, and I'll paste message from the last workflow. The ticket ID, this, and I'll paste it there. So you're saying, thanks for reaching out. You received your support request and created a ticket for a ticket ID. Our team will review it and get back to you shortly. Support team. As simple as that. So you can just remove anything attribution. And if you were to send it with the anything attribution, this is exactly how it will look like. If you go to our sent messages, okay, see the email was sent automatically with anything, and that's what we don't want. So always keep this off, and always keep this off. Now to resend again. So now we've completed the flow for when the information is being sent via webhook. It cleans up the data, it determines if it's customer support related, then it follows the route to generate a ticket number, lodge it in into the Google Sheet, send a notification to a staff letting them know that customer email has been sent, a customer submission has been sent, and then also lets the customer know that their details is being received and is being worked on. So, but what if it's not customer support related, and it's actually a new lead or somebody that needs a service? So what you do is that you could add a Google Sheet to save the information in the Google Sheet for follow up. So save the customer's information. So right before we set it up, you see that it's going only to this route. So let's see if we can just edit the context of the message that came in from the webhook instead of having to go and like create another form again. So take note of all those words that was there. Instead of saying I have an issue with my policy and stuff like that, I could say I'm interested in your service and would like to get a quote. Okay, so you can save that, and based off that information, you can then execute the workflow again. Let's see if my network is on. Okay, so let's delete this note before I add it on. We execute it again and see it has followed the down part instead of the top part. So we could just now add a Google Sheet. But right before we follow through with that, we want to um, create a new what do you call it? So we created a new sheet. I will rename this one new lead, and then we'll just use first name, last name, email, phone, uh, message. Simple as that. So yeah. So head over to our anything and set that up from here. And then we'll pick the second sheet, which is a new lead. So the column to match on will be email, like we said before, and the email will map it in, start mapping all those information. First name, last name, phone, message, created ads. We didn't add that too. We'll just do created ads, created ads. Yeah, so if we execute it, see that it's been added in. So now you can see if it's not customer support related, then it adds as a new lead, and then you want to notify the customer that their details has been sent and a representative will follow up shortly. So we're going to send it to their email. So you could just say thanks for reaching out to us. Uh, so I could say hi, first name, which is David. Hmm, what I do? Okay. Hi, David. Thanks for reaching out to us. One of our representatives will reach out just put it as that. Best support team. Just put something as simple as that. And then, yeah, as usual, remove the anything attribution. Just execute there. So now, basically, what we have is we have a full CRM customer support automation stack where it can analyze if message that was being sent or a form being sent in is customer support related or not. If it's customer support related, it routes it to the right part where customer or a staff would um, get the customer support ticket that is being logged and it's saved in the sheet and also send a reply back to the customer. If it's not support related, then it's being saved into the sheet and the customer is being let know that like their info has been saved and there will be follow up afterwards. So this is the whole automation. Thanks for watching. You could test out if you want to get the full blueprint. I've saved everything into the description and yeah, and also do help hit the subscribe button and the like button because it really helps our channel. And I'll see you guys on the next one.